I never imagined the man I'd ignore for 2 weeks would end up changing my entire life in the sky, no less. That's what Maya whispered into her voice recorder, a tool she carried everywhere to capture the stories she wanted to tell someday. But this one, wasn't supposed to happen to her. It all began at the coastal drift hostel in the quiet beach town of Gokarna, India. Maya was a storyteller. Not in the traditional sense. She didn't write novels or scripts. She was a solo traveler, a content creator, and a collector of voices. She traveled to meet people, hear their stories, and share them with the world on her small but growing YouTube channel. Her videos were soft, raw, and full of feeling, much like her. After 6 weeks of traveling through crowded cities and buzzing towns, Gokarna was her rest stop. She wasn't here to find anything new, just to breathe, maybe edit a few videos, sip on coconut water, and stare at the ocean. The hostel was your usual mix of barefoot dreamers, late-night guitarists, and German tourists wearing loose cotton pants. But there was one exception, the quiet guy in the corner room. He was almost invisible. Always alone. Always reading. Always eating the same dal rice combo from the local folly shop. He rarely joined conversations, and when he did, it was with a quiet smile and one-word answers. Maya didn't bother. She had seen his type before: backpackers running from something, carrying too many secrets and too few clothes. She gave him a nickname in her head, Mr. Lonely Planet. But it was on the 9th day that everything began to shift. It was raining that morning. The kind of rain that drowns sound, turns beaches into mirrors, and forces strangers into covered verandas with nothing but board games and conversations to pass the time. That's when Maya heard it. A soft, hesitant voice beside her. "You like Bukowski?" She looked up, surprised. It was him, Mr. Lonely Planet. Nodding toward the book in her hand. Yeah, she said, raising an eyebrow. "You read poetry?" He smiled, and for the first time, it reached his eyes. "Only the kind that hurts." That was the first real sentence he had said in 9 days. His name was Arav. Over the next few days, the wall between them crumbled quietly. They spoke late into the night about life and loss, about poetry and pain. She learned that he was an ex-army pilot who had lost 2 close friends in a rescue mission. He had walked away from the uniform and the sky, carrying more weight in his chest than in his backpack. He had come to Gokarna not to travel, but to disappear, temporarily. Maya listened. Not like a journalist, but like someone who understood grief. She told him about her father, who had passed away when she was 16, and how storytelling helped her carry the weight. Their bond was fragile, like mist, but real. They started having morning chai together. They sat in silence during sunsets. He even helped her carry camera equipment through rocky cliff trails as she filmed stories of fishermen and chai sellers. It was slow, subtle, and unspoken, but something was growing. Then came the storm. A real one this time. A cyclone warning hit the coastal town, and everyone in the hostel started packing or heading inland. Maya had a decision to make. She had scheduled an interview with an old tribal healer deep in the forest, a woman who rarely met outsiders. It was the kind of story she had been chasing for years. But getting there now meant danger: fallen trees, closed roads, and no ambulance if anything went wrong. She tried to laugh it off. Maybe some stories aren't meant to be told. But her eyes betrayed her heartbreak. The next morning, as the sky grew heavy and the wind picked up, Maya stood at the hostel gate ready to leave town. That's when she heard the sound: a roar, then a ripple, cutting through the stormy air. A helicopter. Descending. And from it stepped Arav, helmet in hand, grinning like a boy who had stolen the stars. "Still want that story?" he shouted over the wind. They flew. Over trembling forests and flooded paths. The entire world below them looked like it had been painted in motion. Maya sat beside him, wide-eyed, speechless, as the storm danced below and the sky wrapped around them like a secret. He landed the chopper near a safe clearing, and together they made the trek to the healer's village. The interview happened, full of tears, wisdom, and ancient chants that Maya recorded with reverence. On the flight back, Maya looked at him and finally asked, "Why did you do this?" He paused for a moment. Then simply said, "Because you made me want to fly again." Back at the hostel, the cyclone passed. So did the crowds. But Maya stayed. And so did Arav. They spent the next 2 weeks not as a traveler and a stranger, but as two people who had helped each other come back to life. When it was finally time to leave, Maya recorded one last entry. "I thought he was just a quiet guy in a hostel. But he was a man who had lost the sky, and then gave it back to me." Final message. Some people enter your life like whispers and leave like echoes. They don't come to change your path, they come to show you what you're capable of when your heart stops running. Sometimes, the quietest people hold the loudest storms. And sometimes, when you think your story is over, someone shows up with a helicopter.